Hello, I am Baron Divinus, and this time, in this video, I'm going to react to Chapter 5, The Master of the Night. The world building and the, kind of like the elaboration of some of these of official lore is crazy in this one. I say this all the time, but it's always true. This is kind of becoming my favorite battle pass so far. Not gonna lie. The lore in this one goes crazy. Anyway, Master of the Night. That was quite the show. Your whole Hurricane Rana thing you did on that flying beast was fascinating. I've never thought of using my legs in combat like that. The poor thing was scrambled so badly it couldn't tell the sky from water. Yeah, he's referring to the signatures that you see Chell and Tezuka use, those wrestling moves. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway. Now, it made grabbing that soul stone from its jaws that much harder, but I do appreciate a good test of precision and skill. Loki restlessly tossed the amber soul stone with one hand, so now we have a red one and an amber one. It was surprisingly light, catching the moonlight in its rugged facets. A fleeting memory crossed his mind. Radiant towers, carefully and elegantly carved into the tallest mountains in the 9 realms, soaring citadels that rivaled the world tree. The place he had once called home. There it is again. He's reminiscing about Asgard. That's always on his mind. About Brawlhalla. Unpleasant. Yeah, because he has unpleasant memories of it because they basically banished him. So it's very much a bittersweet thing, I imagine. Anyway, Loki shook it unpleasant. Loki shook his head as if to shake its grip loose from his thoughts. Ha! It was quite basic. My brother invented it when he was 5, and I perfected it a day later. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of sort of like I imagine Chell and her brother Tezuka are very competitive in nature with each other. Haven't gotten an opportunity to use it at its full strength in years, though. You two were able to operate with such coordination, ducking, weaving, dodging. I prefer something a bit more straightforward. Even my bravest soldiers give me a wide berth whenever I swung my axe. It's easier when you don't have to worry about friendly fire. Yep, indeed. I imagine Azos is just kind of like sitting, like watching these battles happening because he's very weak right now. If that impresses you, you haven't begun to see the limits of what I can do. Next monster that comes up for a tussle, I promise I can do you one better. Chell puffed her chest and quickly hurried forward. Even to the unkeen eye, it was evident that she could barely suppress an eager smile from cracking through her stoic facade. Loki tilted his head, studying her. It was a dangerous thing to express oneself too freely. With one appeal to her ego, Chell's emotional state had swung from begrudging compliance to wholehearted pride. Yeah, Loki's very calculating. Such vulnerability was a liability. She was the volatile sort, and it would be far too easy to exploit her emotions. Yep, again, this is exactly how I imagine Chell is. Just the way the lore is written, I can kind of tell that Chell is very much is very reacts very strongly and emotionally to things. Probably Chell and Tezuka both, perhaps, but Chell especially seems like you want a piece of this, that definitely that kind of character. Fantastic, love it. Yet, despite her reckless abandon, she still had the wherewithal to keep some secrets close to her chest. Yeah, in spite of that, Chell and Tezuka, that Chell is not a fool. Her demand in exchange for guiding them through the forest of the gods was surprising, certainly audacious. It was easy enough to satisfy her by agreeing. A curious quest, but not worth any more thought. Loki had no intention of following through. Interesting. The sound of Azol's gravelly voice roused Loki from his thoughts. We're close to another soul stone. I can feel it, resonating somewhere close by. Chell lurched to a stop at the foot of a large stone pyramid, grinning while she held out an arm to stop their procession. The structure was emblazoned with once glorious beasts, weathered by time and ruined with long gashes. Though the stone was marred with vines that stretched across its faces like creeping fingers, the temple still stood proud and noble. From the dark entrance of the temple, a stiff breeze seemed to beckon forwards, as if some great beast had inhaled and was holding its breath, waiting to pounce. Is something the matter? Looks like we've reached the Temple of the Night Watch, the hunting grounds of the Master of the Night. In my previous treks through the Forest of the Gods, we hunted together. If she's got her claws on a soul stone, then I'm sure I can figure something out with her. A tussle, a talk, a test, whatever it is. It'll be quick and painless. Probably. Wait here. Chell confidently strode into the temple alone, holding her head high. Her form faded into shadow. The wind whistled in the breeze. The leaves rustled. Loki's finger twitched. We're being watched. Good. You can sense it too. Metal claws tore into Loki's flesh. A searing hot pain carved through his shoulders like knives. Ichor spurted from his wounds, running down his body and painting the grass into the color of the night sky. The wind was knocked from his chest as he felt an immense weight crush him. Gravel bit into his skin as his jaw cracked against the ground. Loki laughed, though it escaped him as a wheezing fit. He had sensed that something had been following them for quite some time, waiting to pounce, but even he could admit the Master of Night's abilities were quite impressive if they were able to best him even when he was on his guard. Alas, he had underestimated this hunter. A weight lifted from Loki's back. Then he felt a cold press of metal against his neck. And here is the reveal, and here we go. Looks like I've got you at my mercy. If you move a muscle, you'll get the claws. Now, what is someone like you doing here? Why do you have that? Azoth pointed at himself, as if accused. The Master of Night did not look up. Me? You wear our clothing and speak our language, but you are not of this world. I can sense it. Tell no lies, lest I cut out your tongue. Quite a predicament I'm in. He's smiling about it, I love it. In need of assistance? No, everything's quite under control. Plans within plans, you see? You've got a funny definition of what under control looks like. I love the dynamic between these characters. This is amazing. I love these little stories. Suit yourself. Do not converse as if I'm not here. Your life hangs in the balance. Speak for your own sake, or do you have a death wish? I am happy to entertain final words if that is the case. With a heavy roar, Chell plunged from the sky, somersaulting through the air. Loki pounded his free fist against the dirt, dropping away from underneath the claws that had been pinning him into a swirling portal. Wait, drop? Yeah. Dropping away from underneath the claws that had been pinning him into a swirling portal. Yeah. Not pinning him into a swirling portal, but pinning him and then escaping the claws that were pinning him and then going to a swirling portal. Anyway, yeah. Grammar. But, yeah. English is hard. In that same moment, Chell slammed into the Master of Night's shoulder with her torso. The sheer force and weight of the hit sent both fighters sprawling on the ground. A wrinkle in space tore open as Loki slipped back into reality, his scythe blade outstretched in his open hand as dozens of whirling chains emerged from the ground and clamped the feline guardian in place. The Master of Night's ears flicked as she pulled her face into a grin. Stalked and attacked by 2 hunters with claws. I suppose I am in the Jaguar Kingdom after all. It's been quite some time, Chell. Well, that's a wicked grin right there. Wow. Do you fight along outsiders now? Doesn't seem like your style. Has the surface changed you that much? I still bleed for the Jaguar Kingdom. That hasn't changed. It will never change. This arrangement is just temporary. Oh, and what about the skeleton? He holds the power I've been looking for. The Fell Empress's days are numbered. Still on about that old plan of yours? Well, about time someone did something about that old fool. Now I haven't been prying because it hasn't felt like the right time. But pray tell, why do you wish for the death of your own queen? How has she wronged you? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Thank you, Loki, asking the real questions here. Interesting. Azoth was kind of thinking there for a moment. What's Azoth's part in all this? Perhaps it would be easier to say what wrong she hasn't done unto our people in the last few centuries. When we were children, we were taught to devote every part of ourselves to our gods. Our souls, our prayers, our minds. A corrective measure for our ancestors' faith in ancestors' faith in our gods was weak, or so the Fell Empress claims. As the Foul Empress preaches, that lack of faith led to the dawn of the first darkness, the massacre of our sleeping gods centuries ago. Okay, this is where it's deviating from this is where it's different from the original timeline, because this is a different timeline here, where in the original timeline, the Battle of Ishanokala was where the Jaguar Kingdom basically like was falling to ruin, and that's when Queen Nai like did this ritual and absorbed 11 gods within herself, and then a Valkyrie took her to Valhalla, and then Queen Nai basically is biding her time, allowing her gods to kind of like regain their strength. But here it seems that maybe the Jaguar Kingdom didn't fall apart with a bang or like with a battle, but maybe with like a whimper perhaps. And that like the Jaguar Kingdom persisted for like hundreds of years into like the present day, which is when Chell and Tezca were around. They're from like modern day. So that's very interesting. Anyway, we fear their retribution. Once they will return and answer in fury, destroying all so the cycle may begin anew. Yep, that's another thing from Queen Nai's original lore. Like, she's waiting for Ragnarok so that the cycle can begin anew and her gods can replace the Norse gods. She has a really cool story, and I'm so glad things are being explored here. It's a fear that is as fundamental to our very being as breathing. That's interesting. So, like, this upbringing in this Jaguar Kingdom, that's so interesting. After the dawn of the first darkness, our home in the forest of the gods became more and more dangerous. When the earth rumbles, we get crushed underneath it. When the feral beasts prowl, we become their prey. The Foul Empress ordered for the people to leave our ancestral home here for their own good. So we left, because we believed in her, only to find that the world above was drowning. She cast it into the rain from the only shelter we've ever known. A fat lot of good leaving did us. Under her rule, she has let our people rot. As we fester in our flooded homes, shying away from the endless rain, praying to absent gods, she sits pretty on her throne deep in the underbelly of the old ruins. And for what? She promised us our faith will one day bring upon the dawn of a renewed empire. But here we are, wallowing in its ruins. The empire is on the verge of collapse. No children have been born in our villages for 2 decades. The Fell Empress was the one who watched everything crumble around her. Our homes, our temples, our empire, everything. Maybe this isn't the modern day. Maybe this is just like, maybe Chell and Tezca were just part of the actual old empire of the Jaguar Kingdom. Yeah. What a sorry excuse for a ruler and a leader. Interesting. Yeah, so it's like, what if Queen Nai didn't like die in battle, but rather sort of like persisted, essentially? Maybe that's like the big what if here in this timeline. A sovereign whose people want nothing to do with her. The hunting grounds have been oddly quiet as of late, not to mention the constant earthquakes. Yeah, it's interesting Asuri is here because in the original lore, Asuri is from like the Punjab border, kind of like the Indian subcontinent, right? And like India and thereabouts. So the fact that Asuri is here, maybe like in this timeline, Asuri is Mesoamerican instead of from the Indian subcontinent. I don't know. Anyway, it's cool. And she seems to, I don't know if this is like just armor or maybe like she's an actual like mech of some kind. Who knows? I'm not sure. Anyway, I fear the remnants of the forest of the gods are crumbling. Make your move soon. Being the master of night means nothing if there's no night left. That's quite a line. The writing is really good here. I love it. So, what brings you all into the forest of the gods? I think you might be in possession of something I need. Azoth? Yes, I sense it somewhere very close. Master of Night? Perhaps you have a very shiny gem somewhere? Like the orange one you've got there? Yes. Loki snapped his fingers. The chains around the Master of Night shattered and dissipated. The Master of Night jumped up, gracefully, landing with a firm thump. Did you tire of maintaining your magic, warlock? Ha! No. He's like, no. That's, oh gosh, Loki's such a good character. He's such a delightful character. But you can hardly give us the soul stone when you're bound in chains. Heh, I like you. I've been holding on to my stone for quite some time. I was told to only give it up under the demands of the sovereign herself, or at least the behest of a brave soul seeking to change the fate of the world. Using personal judgment, of course, but something within me tells me that change is finally coming. Wonder who gave her the stone. Maybe like the sorcerer who like set all this up or something. Who knows? I don't know. Something brews upon the horizon. Perhaps it is finally time. The Master of Night waved, flicking her palm open. A dazzling golden gem materialized above her outstretched paw. You know, I just had an idea for a fun little like campaign or like adventure or something. Like if there are multiple timelines and if Azoth's soul stones exist in multiple timelines, then that could mean that maybe Azoth would want to try to go on a quest to like get rid of all the soul stones so he doesn't have to be summoned again or something. Anyway, whatever. Just a random little thought. It shone with beams of soft sunlight, emanating a gentle warmth. The night became brighter. The night became brighter. That's a fun line, too. Some irony, having the Master of Night hold on to a little shard of the sun. Take it. I have no need for it. Go. You won't be accompanying us? Afraid not. I've been bound to hunt these lands at night, every night, for the last millennia, slaying any beast that dares wander too close to the surface. A duty I cannot shirk. Nothing gets past me so long as I stand guard. I expect you'll be seeing the indomitable daylight at some point in your trek. They have another two of the soul stones you seek. Indomitable daylight. Curious what that could mean. It looks like so now we have a red stone, an amber stone, and a golden stone, I guess. Be wary. That one's a chatty one. I never hear the end of their drivel. It's been good seeing you again, Chell. With that, the Master of Night turned tail and shrank away from the light. The night took her, and her footfalls faded into silence. And they're off. She will wrest the laurels from their crowns. Is it finally time? Hold on a second. Oh, come on. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Yep, there it is. The prophecy of the Jaguar Queen in the original canon lore. So it is written that the warrior queen shall walk abroad and vex the stranger gods in their own house, the Norse gods in Valhalla. She will defeat them in tests of their own devising and wrest the laurels from their crowns. She will win battles in Valhalla. And in the final battle, she will call out, and our old gods will answer in fury, destroying all so the cycle may begin anew. That is the prophecy of the Jaguar Queen. That is cool, okay? That's so cool. It's finally time she will wrest the laurels from their crowns. Asuri is talking about the prophecy of the Jaguar Queen. The prophecy of the Jaguar Queen. That's so cool. I love that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Brawlhalla lore is cool. Chell. All right. Excellent. I wonder if, like, wait, she said Chell. Maybe that's like the prophecy of the Jaguar Queen, meaning that Chell is actually the new Jaguar Queen. And that, oh, wait. Okay. Theorizing time. All right. So in the original lore, this prophecy, like, as far as I can tell, is pretty obviously written about Queen Nai, like, you know, dealing with the Norse gods in Valhalla, and when Ragnarok happens, her gods will replace the Norse gods. That's the prophecy of the Jaguar Queen here. But here, Asuri is talking about wrest the laurels from their crowns, and she mentioned Chell. What if Chell is actually the Jaguar Queen that the prophecy is talking about in this timeline? What if Chell is the one who is going to wrest the laurels from the crown, from this crown? What if Chell is going to... What if the prophecy of the Jaguar Queen is talking about basically defeating Queen Nai here? Wrest the laurels from Queen Nai's crown. Anyway, that's my theory right now. Again, I literally know nothing about what the story is going to be. Obviously, I have my reveal, but that didn't really tell me like the story in general. So, wow. That's really cool. Anyway, that's my theory for this. So yeah, that's episode 5, The Master of Night. As of recording this, I've been recording all these videos on March 1st, and of course, I'll record videos for the other chapters later. But yeah, next time will be chapter 6. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, all the best.